Hi everyone, and welcome to the February edition of the Partner Technical Newsletter vlog. If you haven't heard from us already, then I hope it's not too late to wish you a happy new year and welcome you to 2021. I'm John.
And yes, I'm Nick, and likewise, a happy new year to you all. Thank you for joining us this month. We're going to start out this time around looking at an article I've published this month in the newsletter, which is primarily around the Sophos Intercept X with EDR product set within our portfolio. So essentially, the article is looking at a summary of all of the EDR tips that John and I include in our monthly Sync with Sophos Tech updates. Quick shameless plug for those if you're not familiar with them already. Shame on you, first of all. If you'd like an invite, then please do reach out to your channel account manager or to John and I directly, and we'll send one your way. But essentially, on the first Friday of every month at 10 a.m., we do a webinar series called Sync with Sophos, and in that we go through all the latest tech roundups from the month just past. So as I say, in this article this month, we're actually summarising all of the EDR tips that we've been including as part of the Sync with Sophos webinar series. And so there's some really useful material in there. I hope useful material that you would find useful around how to get the best out of Intercept X with EDR. That comes down to some really straightforward sort of guidance on using the OS query and underlying technology that exists within Intercept X with EDR, right through to using some of the threat hunting techniques or looking for indicators of compromise within your customer's environment. One thing we do also consider is the fact that you as partners might actually be providing MSP type services to your customers who in turn buy Intercept X with EDR. And so you might be the ones actually doing that threat hunting and providing a SOC type service to your customers. In which case there are some really useful examples of how to perhaps make use of the recently added Live Discover API that exists within the EDR platform. So yeah, definitely recommend you taking a look, whether you're already an avid user of our Intercept X with EDR platform or you're really just starting to scratch the surface. There should hopefully be some useful information in there for you.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks, Nick. Next up, I'll talk a little bit about my article. So XG is currently, and I suppose a little bit of a holding pattern as we anticipate the release of XG version 19. But in the interim, we have released two maintenance releases for both XG 17 and XG 18. So the XG 17 release is MR15. And the XG18 release is MR4. Now, with XG version 17.5, then it really is a maintenance release. So the main changes here are to do with security implications on the device itself. So looking at how we store the encryption and repository for sensitive data on the appliance itself, including things like passwords. And one important change there for devices that are already out in the field is there are now additional rules around complexity of passwords, just for obvious reasons to make those devices as secure as possible. When we talk about XG version 18, MR4 is maybe a little bit more than a maintenance release, to be honest, because as well as all the enhancements to security that I've just talked about, there are also some additional features included in there. So there's some additional capabilities around things like high availability, VPNs, and a lot of enhancements to how the XG integrates more closely with Sophos Central. So to flesh that out just a little bit more, then the high availability, there's an underlying change to the mechanism that's used for fast path packets through active passive pairs. So you get the optimum out of that software route through the appliance and through the virtual machine there for packets that are basically green lit and should flow through directly through the appliance. There are also enhancements when it comes to using XG in public cloud, in particular Amazon Web Services and the AWS Transit Gateway now supports HA, and that's a really important change for anybody that's using Transit Gateway. If you're not familiar with it, Transit Gateway is basically a portal that you can send all of your data into the AWS infrastructure, and it's a very efficient way of getting data in and out of AWS, which of course is important because a lot of the billing metrics are all sort of stacked around how data flows in and out of the public cloud when it comes to Amazon. So it's a useful tool with Transit Gateway, and obviously because it is a hub, it does often perform mission critical tasks. So having the high availability capability in there is absolutely key. And there are some underlying changes as well to high availability for new customers when they're setting those things up, and also when upgrades occur as well. So to make the upgrade process for a HA cluster a little bit more streamlined and a bit more of a straightforward process. On the VPN side of things, there are enhancements to IPsec for remote access. There are some advanced options exposed within the GUI that previously were buried in the command line under the SE admin function. So it's nice to be able to have those extra tools available inside the GUI. You can also download the Sophos VPN client directly from the user portal as well. Now, given obviously people are still working remotely, that's quite useful for the provision of new devices, so that users can effectively go and fetch their own VPN clients independent of IT admin and without having to bring the device back into the office. And a security enhancement here as well. So TLS version 1.2 becomes the basic minimum level of security for SSL VPN for both site-to-site and remote access connections. So that's ruling out previous versions of TLS, again, for fairly obvious security reasons. And then again, just a bit of a reminder about the security enhancements in XG version 18 MR4. There's a better hash for passwords, and there is also some additional complexity requirements there for passwords as well. There is some changes to the web content filtering capability, which you need to be aware of. So if you're running any kind of web content filter whatsoever, then all of the sites listed on the Internet Watch Foundation, which basically contain things like child sexual abuse, those types of content are automatically blocked without having to tick any boxes in the GUI. So that's obviously a very positive and very understandable change that you need to be aware of. There's a new connector for optics. So if you've got an XG firewall that's running inside the public cloud, then it will automatically report to optics that it is an XG firewall. It will change the icon inside any diagrams that you've got, any network diagrams, and it will also help with usage statistics and stats as well. There's a change to synchronized application control as well. So this is really just a hygiene thing. It will automatically remove newly discovered applications if the definition is over a month old. And obviously, if you choose to save a newly discovered application as a definition, then that doesn't apply. But if it's just left there and nobody's changed it, nobody's done anything with it, it will automatically purge that after a month. And also there are some enhancements to Sophos Central integration as well. So enhanced management of HA clusters and enhancements to the partner dashboard as well to help with group policy management right across your customer estate, and also scheduled firmware updates. So you have to get to MR4 first, but from then on, once you're on MR4, then any future firmware updates, you can choose not only to roll those out immediately, but also to schedule those for a time that will suit your customer best to obviously minimize things like downtime. So, like I said, XG version 18 MR4 is a bit more than just a maintenance release. It is bringing quite a lot of new functionality to the equation.
So 18.5 in all but name then, essentially, John, MR4.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's there's a lot of nice new functionality in there, and I don't know quite why it's not called 18.5, but that's what it is.
Very good. No, excellent. Thanks, John. Next up, in terms of articles for the newsletter this time around, then our esteemed leader Roger Neal has actually written an article for us regarding self-help. So we've been looking at for a good deal of time now the fact that we understand a lot of our partners are struggling when it comes to interfacing with our support organization, and just try to do a bit more analysis as to what it is that's taking up a lot of time for the support teams. And we found that on average, approximately 70% of the calls that actually come into our service center, our support teams, are related to how-to type queries. So partners and customers calling up saying, how do you do X, Y, or Z with product X, Y, or Z from Sophos? And so part of Roger's article this time around is focused on, how we can get away from that situation, how we can take the load off support by enabling partners to better support customers when it comes to utilizing the products, and really taking those how-to type, setup type queries that are going into support off their shoulders to allow them to deal with break fix stuff. So Roger's article looks at things like, how to actually log a ticket, how to provide all the relevant information in order to get a call from the point of triage right through the support process as quickly as possible. So uploading, log files, etc., and preempting the sorts of questions you're going to be asked by support typically when you log a query with us. But also, the conversation should be around, how you as partners can perhaps improve your understanding. So I know a lot of the partners that tune into this are already at this point. So, this isn't aimed at any particular organization, but if you're not familiar with some of the training courses that are available within the Sophos Partner Portal, and John's going to talk about these in just a second in a bit more detail, things like the Certified Technician training courses that are available for the central endpoint and server and also XG firewall products are very useful materials to help you do that initial troubleshooting and triaging to help provide better information to Sophos support. Finally, a quick note on that: if you're delivering services around installing Sophos products, we do recommend, and we're becoming a lot more militant, I would say, about ensuring that partners have received architect accreditation when they're delivering services to install these products into a customer's environments. That's not all primarily aimed at partners. We know that there's a lot of customers out there who decline to buy professional services when they're buying our products. They decide they're going to install the products themselves, but then find themselves in a bit of a mess when they're not quite sure how to do that. And so again, we as an organization, I think, are going to start being a bit firmer with customers who decide to go down that route. We recognize people are often trying to save money, and that's fine, but they also need to take that risk on their own head, be it. So watch out for us, I guess, being a bit more forthcoming with that type of information when you're working on opportunities. John, so sorry, I kind of lined you up perfectly then to talk about the next article, which is something that Ian Stockdale's written this month. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Yeah, so talking about militancy in the right way, I guess, it is a bit of a change to our partner program, which is coming down the line. And this really shouldn't be news because we've been talking about this for quite a while now. But essentially, we are, first of all, tightening up the requirements to hit certain partner tiers in terms of technical qualifications associated with them. And in order to support your transition across to meet the goals, if you don't already hold the relevant certifications, Ian has put together an article that really talks a little bit about, first of all, what the requirements are. So you can map your current partner level against the new levels and look at maybe where the gaps might be, but then also talking about how to close those gaps as well. So Ian has highlighted how to access the training materials and highlighting what types of materials are available for you and various different ways that you can consume that content. Obviously, classroom sessions are a little bit of a problem right now for obvious reasons, but there are lots of other ways that you can access a suite of really great training material to get you up to the standards that you need to be at. So if you're under any doubt at all with regards to the levels that you need, then obviously check out Ian's article, but do also reach out to your channel account manager, and they can help you, navigate the maze of certifications that you need to hit. And so refer back to Ian's article on how to actually access the training for any gaps that you might find.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, John. And then I guess to wrap up the vlog for this time around, just a bit of hot off the press news that we wanted to share with you. So this month we have just imminently launched an early access program in the Sophos Central portal that you can enroll in, which will essentially expose the kind of pre-release XDR or cross-estate hunting functionality that we're trialing at the minute. So it is a public EAP. You and your customers can enroll in it from within Sophos Central. it's a great kind of first look at what our XDR technology is going to look like when it comes to enhancing our EDR capabilities to look at not just endpoint related indicators of compromise or possible suspicious behavior on endpoints, but also correlating all that information with data from XG firewalls, for example, if the customer's taking XG from us as well, and it's registered in Sophos Central, perhaps customers will look to make use of that because of all the new features that John's just mentioned earlier on this video. One thing to note as well, if you've got customers that are already consuming the Intercept X EDR platform, this really adds an extra string to our bow when it comes to being able to query an estate for information regardless of whether machines are online or not at that point in time, because this data is essentially harvested into a data lake that is existing in the Sophos Central dashboard, as opposed to relying on querying machines through Live Discover when the machine is online only. So yes, it's a really exciting bit of technology that we've just launched, and I would encourage you all to have a look, and also encourage your customers as well. If they're Sophos Intercept X EDR customers today, and perhaps they want to know what's around the corner for Sophos, then take a look at that. One little note on that, a logistics note more than anything else, is that machines, so computers and servers, can only be enrolled in one early access program at a time. So if you currently have devices enrolled in the best protection early access program for endpoint features, then you will need to unenroll from that early access program in order to enroll into the XDR early access program. So it's just something to make you aware of if you then come to actually have a tinker with this. But yeah, I think all in all, it's quite exciting to see where we're going with this. And yeah, as I said, I'd encourage you all to have a look and familiarize yourself with it. I'm about to do the same for myself. And if you've got any questions, having had a look, then please do get in touch. As with all our early access programs, there's a community blog and forum set up for that. So there's a lot of information, FAQs, etc. on there as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Nick. I think that that brings us to a close. So as always, thank you very much indeed for watching, and do take care. And we hope to see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.
Take care, guys.